mi amigos, bienvenidos a la granja. Welcome to the farm. Hey y'all, this is Peggy, and the reason that I'm speaking Spanish today is because I'm feeling a little festive, because today I'm going to show you how to make heirloom tomato salsa, fresh, pico de gallo, pico the rooster. I don't know why they call it that, pico the rooster. Hotter than the 4th of July out here. It is past the 4th of July out here, and there's one thing that absolutely loves this heat and humidity, and it is not your Farmer Peggy. It is heirloom tomatoes. So with all of those tomatoes, I know you're looking for a few ways to use them up beside of all of those tomato sandwiches and tomato pie. I'm going to show you a really quick and easy, delicious, fresh salsa. Get ready. So you have a lot of wonderful fresh ingredients in your farm box this week, and one of those things that you have is a whole lot of heirloom tomatoes, right? So I thought it would be really fun, because we have so many here too, to make a really easy, fresh, delicious heirloom tomato salsa. Now usually salsas are kind of made with more the paste tomatoes like these, and there's a reason. It's because you don't want all of that pulp and that seed in your salsa. But I'm going to show you how to get rid of some of that, because it's just too delicious. It's just, trust me, this is delicious. So I'm going to use all of the tomatoes that you didn't get, because these heirlooms tend to want to bruise and kind of go bad. So I'm going to chop up what we have here that are some of the, and this is something that you can do too. If you start getting tomatoes, if your tomatoes start getting a little old or bruised, this is a great way to use them up. So this little lemon boy here, he's got a really bad spot. So I'm just going to make quick work of him. Now, same thing goes here with this other little black creme. Now, you might have noticed on some of your black creme, you know, they get sometimes called heirloom tomatoes the ugly tomatoes. And, you know, I think it was the hibernizers who started that, because they're not the most attractive cardboard looking tomato, but they are the most delicious tomato. But on these black cremes, they tend to crack here at the top, and you can sometimes see a little bit of mold here, and that's just from the humidity. It is no big deal. You just cut that off. That ain't no biggie. We don't care about that. Listen, if you want perfect, then I just can't help you, because perfect's just not in my vocabulary. There's nothing perfect. Nothing perfect. Well, maybe some, a few things. Anyway, so I'm going to take some of these little ones, and I'm just going to start chopping. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do, see these seeds like this? I'm going to take my compost can here, and you're just going to kind of squeeze some of this pulp out of here, just kind of squeeze it on out. I'm going to get one of these here. So all of this kind of pulp, when I push it, see how it kind of squeezes out? Just go ahead and take your knife and just get that out of there, because that is where your seeds are, and you really want a really nice meaty salsa, more of the tomato meat. Now lemon boys are not very acidic, and they're not really too awfully seedy like that and runny, so they're actually really easy to work with. Now these little black cremes, that they can be, so we'll just kind of squeeze them on out. So now the main thing, and the thing that I love about salsa in general, besides it's just so delicious, is that it's not meant to be perfect. You know, one of the things that I really appreciate when I go to someone's house for dinner or you know, when we're going for some sort of celebration and they have cooked a meal and that meal is handmade. That meal is home cooked. And, you know, I'm sorry, that you just can't beat that. So I'm just kind of dicing these up, all of these little tomatoes. Another thing about heirloom tomatoes that's really lovely is that they have really thin skin, hence why they bruise so much. And that's also why the grocery stores, you know, can't carry them or don't carry very many of them. Now they're actually breeding heirloom lookalikes, be aware of that, that have a thicker skin, but most heirlooms have really a thin skin. And so they do, they bruise really well. They don't hold up to being gassed, to ripen up. You know, these heirloom tomatoes want to be ripe on the vine. They want to be a tomato. They don't want to be a pseudo tomato. So again, just giving them a rough chop. No, nothing. Go ahead and pull him off. So those tomatoes that are really, really good and ripe, that's what you want to use for making salsa. They are at the peak of their flavor. I'm going to get a little bowl and start putting my tomatoes in. Uh-oh. Hello. Well, you're already peppered now. Get this out of the way. So I'm just going to take them and I'm going to put them in here so I can get everything kind of mixed up. The thing about being up here at the pavilion, you really just don't have a lot of options when it comes to work. I'm just doing a little bit of a orange pepper just for flavor, and because I kind of like a little bit of a sweet pepper in my salsa, but also the color is just beautiful. And, you know, you eat with your eyes, and that's part of the beauty of summer. It's so colorful, and the foods are so colorful. So, you know, I like to really live that while I can, because my whole thing is eat in season. Right now it's tomatoes and peppers and those kind of things. Eat in season. Your body will respond to you eating in season. Jalapeno. Now, I am one of those people who don't like hot food or just can't tolerate it. I mean, I don't know where this Nashville hot chicken came from. When I moved to Nashville in 1987 to go to school here, nobody had any hot chicken. It was just fried chicken. So that's something new, y'all from LA and all y'all brought up here, but that's okay. But jalapeno. So jalapenos, I wanted to cut this open. It's very, very seedy, and the heat is actually in the seed. And here's the other thing. The closer that you get to the stem here, eating this and cutting this, the hotter this is going to be. Now, if you are like me and you have a really terrible, terrible reaction to pepper seeds when you're cutting peppers and you're working with peppers, I mean, even contact with the seed, I always wear gloves, which I don't have right now, because my hands tend to burn after I'm messing with it. So that's why I'm being kind of really careful. And there's nothing worse than a pepper burn. So just getting those seeds kind of cleared out of here. Now, if you want your salsa to be spicy, picante, if you want that, then leave some of these seeds for sure in your pepper, because that's gonna bring on some heat. So I'm just gonna chop up my jalapeno, and I'm gonna chop up my jalapeno kind of fine, because again, I don't want it to be the dominant thing. When I bite into this salsa, I'm really not wanting a lot of heat. I want flavor, and you know, the jalapeno peppers have a really great flavor. They really add a lot and really authentic, but just want a little bit, not much, just a little bit. I'm gonna cup it just a little bit more. And I'm just kind of giving it really, just a really fine chop. Let me move this nastiness out of the way. I didn't even know that was in the camera. So, just a really fine chop here on these jalapenos. And just throw it in there. Move this out of the way. Now next up is a little onion. Throw that in the compost. So, remember I told you about cutting this onion? So we're going to give it a really fine dice. So I want to get 3 cuts down, just through like this, and then I'm going to run the blade back over and almost kind of cut all the way to the end here, straight down, like that. And then you're going to come in, claw fingers. Keep those fingers back like this. A good knife, let the knife do the work. And then you're going to come in and just give it a dice. Now, you can put however much you want, onion-wise. And with your salsa, that's about right. Because the thing that I don't want is I don't want too much, I want the tomatoes to be the star of this show. I don't need the onions or the peppers to be the star of the show. I want those heirloom tomatoes. Now the next thing, so we talked about the little paste tomatoes here. So I want to show you the difference. See how meaty this tomato is? It's not juicy at all. This is why they make a lot of pasta sauces with it. It's just not meaty, so it makes a perfect, let's look at a little meat right there, a perfect salsa tomato. And it has a ton of flavor as well. So let's go ahead and just chop up one of those. Why not? All right. Just toss it right in there. Beautiful. All right. Next up, I'm going to mince the clove of garlic. Now, mincing, because I want it really fine. Again, I don't want any one flavor to be the star of my show in my salsa except for my tomatoes. So I have a mincer, if you don't have one of these. So it has 2 slots. So this is a bigger mince and then this is a fine mince. So you just put your clove in just like that and then you bring it down and then you press it. And you see how it kind of comes out here? There you go. And you just keep pressing it down. And then you can also, to get some leverage and there you go. This is really good for the hand strength. There you go. A little garlic. Let's go in with a little cilantro. All right, just gonna chop up some cilantro. Now, one of the fun things about salsa, and I have to tell you, is that you can make salsa with anything you want. You want to put corn in salsa, you want to roast your peppers, you want to make pasta with strawberries or mangoes or whatever, peach, whatever you want to put in your salsa, put in your salsa, because you can change up the flavor of salsa really quick. But here's the nice thing, is these kind of recipes, these are the things that are the heirlooms, the true heirlooms, the things that get handed down from family member to family member over the years. It's, Luke always asks for, Mama's salsa. So, and he also knows that it doesn't come until the heirloom tomatoes are in. Hence why he's, standing by the door right now at the farmhouse waiting for me to get finished making it. So this is what I think about my daughter, and I think about all of these recipes that my mom and my grandmother gave to me, peanut butter fudge and chicken and dumplings and all of those amazing recipes of food that built me, that made me who I am today. They're a part of me, is just like, you know, these freckles on my face. Well, that's what this is to me. That's what these kind of recipes that you create, and you make them your own, and you make them your family's, you know, memories of the summer. Hey, it's 2019, the summer of 2019. That was the best salsa year ever, right? So that's what I think about. So one, good. Now when you're doing lime, you want to make sure that you let it kind of stay out of the refrigerator for a while, and then you want to just cut it in half, because you want to kind of loosen that juice up, because that's what you want on here. It's a good squeeze of lime. Can I get an amen? Oh yeah. There you go. All right. Then I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Y'all know that. And then a little bit of hard pepper, that really coarse kind of pepper that's got my tomato stuck in it right now. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of sugar. Because of the tomato, the acidity in the tomato, I'm just going to sweeten it up a little bit. I'm going to break up some of that acidity. Now, this is the bomb, okay? I found out about this when I was living in Mexico years ago, and they would put it on mango, they would put it on shrimp, they would put it on corn on the cob, just everything. And so, and I could not find this for years. And then last year I was back down in Mexico at my language school, learning how to speak Spanish. Hola. Anyway, learning how to speak Spanish, and I found it. And now I see it everywhere. What the heck? But anyway, this is a really classic season in Spanish food. So, and it's chilies, and it's got a little heat, so a little bit of chili and lime. That's what it is, and it is delicious. So, hello, come on now. All right. So now, let's just go ahead and give this a little mix and get all these flavors mixed together. Now I want to tell you something really quickly. When you make this, don't put it in the refrigerator, because what happens in the refrigerator is that it really diminishes the flavor of the tomatoes. You can leave this out. You can leave it out for a few hours. It's not going to last long, so leave it out. And if you do have leftovers and you want to keep it, you can put that in the refrigerator. But it's never going to be as good as when you left it out, because tomatoes should never go in the refrigerator. They are one of the produce, one of your produce things that just you don't need to put in the refrigerator unless you have sliced them open, and then you'll put them in the refrigerator. So let's go ahead and plate this, because this looks delicious, right? So I'm gonna get this plated, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so I've got our heirloom tomato salsa plated in my I bought this when I was in Mexico last year from this little pottery place, and I love it. It's my beautiful bowl, and it's always the one that I always serve salsa in it, because it reminds me of one of the most magical places in the whole world that I love so much, and that is Mexico. So I plated it up. I want you to take a look at that. That is beautiful. The colors and just the overall. You can't buy this in a jar. You can't buy this in the grocery store. You can only make this at home, and I'll tell you, that's the fun of it. And that is the most delicious salsa you will ever eat. And not only because you made it, you use the freshest ingredients that you can possibly get. So I hope that you enjoyed this recipe. I'm coming with the salsa. My son is on me about getting the salsa down. So I hope you have enjoyed our heirloom tomato salsa recipe today, and I hope that you make this recipe at home, and I hope you turn it into your family tomato heirloom tomato salsa. Be creative. Make it whatever you want. Just make it. Thank you guys. So, ciao.